The story of Samuel anointing David again teaches us a beautiful lesson about leadership and greatness. And the story goes that we know that Samuel goes to find a successor to Saul, and he goes to Bethlehem, he goes to Jesse, Yishai, who brings out 7 of his sons, not David. And Samuel looks at each and says, they're all unbelievable. But is there anyone else here? Anyone else? He's a prophet, he knows. They bring in David. David's the physically least impressive. He's young. He's a little redhead. And even Samuel, this is the one. But God says, he says that, and it's such a great lesson for us today, because so much of how we judge people today is on their appearance. You got to look good. You got to be beautiful. You got to be thin. You got to be in shape. God says we judge people by their external. God says, I see the soul. I see greatness. The rabbi said another way that's really beautiful. They said, Al tistakel bekankan ela ma shebetochan. Don't look at the outside of the vessel, but rather what's inside of it. And this is a great lesson about David, but it's a great lesson about leadership. You see, we think that great leaders look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, he's the governor of California. But we associate greatness with physical size, his biceps, his pecs. But Judaism understands that greatness is an internal quality. And as a matter of fact, and not just through Jewish sources, if you look at great leaders in human history, few of them are actually that physically impressive. Amongst the non-Jewish conquerors of the world, an Alexander the Great was not 7 feet tall. He was maybe 5'2", and so was Napoleon. But what they had was an internal strength and a drive. But how much more so with someone like King David? And this brings us to a little deeper point in Judaism. There are actually very few Jewish superheroes in the true sense of the word, like Marvel Comics. We have a Samson, who's one of the few individuals who has superhuman strength because of his payas, his hair. But the vast majority of Jewish superheroes are people who are great because of their internal traits. What they have inside them, their inner strength, their conviction, their drive. And it points to one final fascinating point. The true greatness, we say, of a Jew is their soul. Any human being, your soul, your mind. In any language in the world, a person who protects you is a bodyguard. That's what's important, protecting my body. In Hebrew, the word is shomer rosh, head guard. Because what makes you great is what you got up here. And it's a great lesson about how we should judge people. And it's a great lesson about greatness. And it's very empowering to those of us who aren't 7.5 feet tall and can bench press 450 pounds.